Inside the car, I think our second or third guest 3.5 years ago was Jimmy Johnson. And he talked about having to go from or going from NASCAR to IndyCar. And I actually talked to him in Detroit at the track. And he said, man, it is, where is the power steering? Why is this
Seriously.
hard? He was getting absolutely pummeled especially on a street circuit in these cars. How do you stay in shape between Indy 500s, and how did you stay in shape when you were running the circuit all the time?
Well, that's the thing is that number one, I have a huge amount of respect for Jimmy. Right? He's the man. Right? 7-time champion, and then he comes completely out of his wheelhouse and puts himself on this grand stage of exposure. Right? To
Yep.
potentially, he's going up against guys that have been driving Indy cars for years, and he's throwing himself into this. I mean, that is. I'm not quite sure how many people actually would do that, honestly. And I'm like, man, you have some big cojones for doing that. That is really cool. And I respect the heck out of that. He's such a great guy, but I really do. I mean, that takes a lot of guts, and that's another one that's just driven by the passion of the sport. But that is one thing about IndyCar that nobody will really get, and it's unfortunate because there's no way of you can go pick up a football and understand that what Tom Brady does is difficult, throwing a ball accurately, 60 yards down the field or whatever, and getting hit by these big guys. It's more something you can relate with because you can pick up a golf club and understand you can't do what Tiger Woods does, that type of stuff. But in IndyCar, the physicality of it is incredible. I mean, we would lose. I had some races where I lost 10 pounds of water weight, and my heart rate. I was wearing heart rate monitors as well. In qualifying up to 180 beats per minute. In the race, sustained 160 plus for hours,
Wow.
and drenched in sweat, and it's just with no power steering. Not only is it heavy because you've got these massive Firestone slicks on the car, but the kickback through the wheel, like you mentioned, Jimmy was getting beat up on the street courses because they're bumpy, right? And every one of those bumps you go over, it's like a go-kart, right? That feeling of that direct linkage steering, times 1,000, because the kickback through the wheel is what really is physical. You've got all that weight, but it constantly is doing that to you. And you put the car offline in some areas, by an inch, and you're off in the marbles into the wall. And it's just, you have to drive it on the edge with precision while absolutely getting beat up. And the car's basically driving on the ground as well, right? We run those cars so that on the straights, they're bottoming. And, some of those tracks are not very smooth, and you're getting these like compression hits in your spine and things like that. And it's a crazy physical experience. And I wish we could somehow relay that to people more in a more effective manner, but there's really no way to do it.
So how do you stay in shape now between Indy 500s?
I've kept with my same trainer that I've had for many years, and for me, it's all about mixing it up, right? It's not with drivers. It's a lot of core. It's sustaining, right? When you're going through a corner with sustained G's, like on a short oval, we do almost 5 G's, right? So it's a lot of core work. It's a lot of shoulder work for that. Like I said, the weight of the steering. Any IndyCar driver that first gets in it, right? Nico Hulkenberg got in at Barber, went for a test, and was gassed as well. It's a certain level of weight and heaviness to the steering wheel. Meanwhile, you're undergoing all these G's. So it's about that core work. It's about your shoulders, upper body, and really cardio. Just a lot of cardio. I've always done a lot of swimming, running, these things, and the best shape you can be in though is the maintenance workouts. But when you're in the car every week and you get into race shape, there's nothing in the gym that can really that can prepare you 100% for it. But being in the race car is the best thing. And
The
I
cars are
find
really
like karting, yeah, karting is really good. I still do that. I have a 175cc shifter down in Homestead in the heat. Just continually staying on top of it. But Indy is not one of the most physical races. Indy is the most mentally draining. But when it comes to road and street courses, yeah, it is crazy physical. Scott McLaughlin posted his heart rate from Portland actually for the whole race on Twitter just the other day, and he was right up there, 100 right at the start, 160 or more beats per minute for basically the whole race.
wow. And mentally, how do you prepare for a mental race like Indianapolis? How do you train for that, right?
I think it comes with experience, honestly. I don't know. I've never done any, just years and years of racing and being in really, really pressure, you know, being in positions that where I knew if the outcome wasn't good or if I didn't do well and or bring the car home in one piece, that I wasn't going to have a job, and just compartmentalizing things and focusing on the right thing is huge, right? So much of it is up here. How you start your day. If you start thinking, "Oh man, I don't know if I can pull this off," this is a big deal. This is a big race today. Or you open the window and it's raining. Like, oh shoot, it's raining. Why can't it just be? You have to right then just retool your brain. Think, this is a positive for me. I can do this. And then go back and think of those other rain races that you've had where you've succeeded and what you did and what it felt like and why. And it's the same thing for Indy. You can't let the nerves get to you. You can let the nerves get to you in a positive way, but channeling positive thoughts. Once you start going down a road of negativity or doubt, it'll have you. Just grips you. It's instant. Just like they say when you're driving a race car, if it gets loose, right, and you're trying to save the car, if you're looking where you want to go, you're going to go there. If you look at the wall, you're going to go to the wall. It's just like that, simplified. But I think over years of being in certain positions with pressure, with the championship on the line, with the race win on the line, this, that, and the other, it kind of gets you prepared for a moment like the 2014 Indy 500 at the end there.